and welcome to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. I'm Jemma Gofton with another edition of the programme that aims to make your next cruise or holiday as problem-free and relaxing as possible. So if you have a holiday, cruise or travel-related question, here's how to get in touch. To leave a question on our viewer hotline, call 0871 423 4444. Calls cost 10p a minute from a BT landline and calls from other networks and mobiles may vary. Write on our Facebook wall or tweet us, just search Holiday and Cruise Channel. Send a message through our website www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk/clinic or write to us at the Holiday and Cruise Channel, Cavendish House, Brighton Road, Liverpool, L22 5NG. Now, around 5 million people visit Benidorm each year. With its spectacular coastline, breathtaking white and golden sandy beaches, which stretch for more than 4 miles, it is a thriving resort, famous for its seafront hotels, lively nightlife, endless restaurants and superb shopping opportunities. Benidorm is home to around 200 nightclubs and discos, more than 1,000 bars and a host of English-style pubs. So it's no surprise it proves a really popular holiday spot for us Brits. Well, here to entice us even more is Yolanda Pickett from Visit Benidorm. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, Benidorm, what type of visitor do you entice?
Well, we try to entice everybody. But the beauty of Benidorm, it's a resort which really can cater for the needs of any type of client. So the traditional type of guest, which is our main visitor during the year, that comes down to Levante Beach, everybody knows. But we also have the 5-star guests because we have some good 5-star hotels and golf courses. So they can come, it's very good for families. We also in the Old Town area have small quaint hotels, very friendly for those who want to get away from a little bit more, have a bit more of the Spanish culture. And those who want a quiet holiday, believe it or not, Benidorm has another area which is on the other beach, Poniente Beach, which you can have a get away from it all holiday. It's much quieter, and if you want to go into and enjoy the sort of the nightlife area, then you go to Levante. So really, whether you're a 2-star or 5-star client, whatever your preferences are, Benidorm can cater for those needs.
So we're catering for them, but is it seasonal? Will we see some sun? Is it open all year round?
Yes, Benidorm is open all year round. One of the beauties of Benidorm, it's got a special microclimate, which means we've got very mild winters. This particular winter and autumn has been fantastic. I can actually say we've probably had better weather than the Canaries. And
so to put it in context for people, because
yeah.
we, obviously if you give us a whatever degrees, we sound kind of a bit like, hold on, what's that? Is it sort of T-shirt weather still, or yeah. Are we wrapping up warm? Are we raining?
Well, put it this way, my particular office is on the seafront. It's above the tourist information offices. So when I look out of my window, I can see the whole of Levante Beach. And last week, there were people wandering down the beach in T-shirts. It's still a little bit chilly for going into the sea, but there were people in the sea. They were paddling, they had their swimsuits on, and there were people just sitting there having cocktails on the seafront cafes, and they were wearing light spring wear clothing.
And it's actually winter, so...
And it's winter, yeah. I mean, in the evening, yes, you need a jacket. It gets chillier, but in the midday sun, it really is quite spectacular. And one of the beauties as well of the area in the winter, it's actually more attractive because the sunlight is it's very difficult to explain, but there's a very special light in the Costa Blanca, and it really is, the sky is a particular colour of blue, which looks very spectacular. Obviously, we have our odd days of rain, and we're not perfect, but the weather this winter has been very mild, and the reason for that is we're protected by a semicircle of mountains. So in other areas, the degrees can be slightly lower, and even if it's raining there, it's more likely to be dry just because of the way we're protected.
And while we're chatting about seasons, when would you say is, for us Brits, that good holiday weather where we want to lay out all day in our cozies and a suntan lotion on?
Well, I mean, you would traditionally July and August, obviously, are the key months where the weather's at its hottest. However, that's probably a bit too hot. So I think some of the best times of the year are sort of early and late summer, especially spring and autumn, if you want to be on the sun and sunbathing all day long. However, if you just want to enjoy sort of mild weather, not particularly bothered about the beach as such, then any time during the winter. Really, the weather is very mild all year round. It has no complete extremes. There's other areas of Spain where there's more extreme weather, but not so much here.
And for those who don't like to fill the day sunbathing, if maybe they're coming a little earlier in the season, how easy is it to get around?
Well, that's the beauty of Benidorm. Benidorm's a very compact resort, so it's not that far to go from one end to the other because of the vertical buildings. Everything's more down on the seafront. There's a lot of local transport. There's the local buses, which are very regular. You can even, there's a new ecological form of transport now. There's a lot of bike stations situated throughout the resort, so you can pick up a bicycle and use it as transport as well. Or you can just walk. It really isn't that far to go from one end of the town to the other. Probably in about an hour or so you can do it.
And it's easy
that's
to find your way around.
Yeah, it's very easy. And also one of the good things is it's mainly on the flat. There are one or two hilly areas, but the main part of the resort, so that's very accessible for people with, harder walking.
Or pushchairs,
or electronic wheelchairs. A lot of people sort of hire out as well, so it's very accessible.
And if somebody is thinking of visiting Benidorm, they've never been before, how would they find out more information?
Right, well, apart from obviously going to the travel agent here in the UK, we have our website, which is the Visit Benidorm website. And also there's a lot of information online. You can, when you actually arrive in resort, we have 5 tourist information offices where you can come down and you can pick up maps and things to do and different leaflets and different walking routes if you want to do that. So it's always very easy to get information, but mainly on our website as well. It's very, very complete, and on our social media as well.
Now, this is an interesting fact. You've adopted a vertical construction plan. What does that, well, obviously I know what vertical means, but what does it actually mean in construction terms?
Yeah, I mean, Benidorm really sort of started in the 50s. We started with a visionary mayor at the time. His name was Pedro Zaragoza. He knew that the natural resources there were perfect to create a resort. So he went to Madrid, and we're actually, to ask help from General Franco at the time, we're the 3rd town in Spain after Madrid and Barcelona to have a proper town planning. So Benidorm didn't just happen, it was actually planned. So with the first onset of tourists, we had the Swedes and the Brits in the late 50s, and Alicante Airport opened in 67. Benidorm went through a boom period. It did actually start horizontally, but then they started to build the vertical buildings because, again, it was designed specifically like that, so that the resort would be more compact. You wouldn't eat into the land around the area, which you would do if it was horizontal buildings. More people would be able to face the sea, be closer to the sea, and that's how it developed. The thing with Benidorm, everyone thinks, oh my gosh, vertical buildings, and you see the Manhattan. They call us Benny York sometimes, so it's our sort of nickname.
Never heard that before.
And for anyone that hasn't sort of been there, they think, oh, it's the Manhattan skyline, and it looks quite impressive. But when you're actually in the resort, you don't feel the vertical buildings because they're quite spaced out, because you're only really allowed to build, especially in the Newtown area, 30% of the land. So the rest has to be like swimming pools, tennis courts and what have you. So it's not like the buildings are all joined together and you're claustrophobic and you're not walking around with your head in the air all the time. So it has a lot of advantages. It's a lot more efficient as well. So, Benidorm really, in the Poniente beach, is only 2 streets back. It's not a resort that you have to go for miles to get around. So,
if you did want to venture a little further afield, maybe you're into nature and long walks and foliage, is that there as well?
Yes, it is. Yeah. It's not, as people think, just an urban holiday resort. We're literally a stone's throw away. So as I mentioned before, because we're surrounded by mountains, which also protects the climate, that's also another advantage because we're so close to nature. So literally on the northern end of Benidorm, you just keep walking down Levante Beach and then you come to the Sierra Lada, which is a natural mountain range. And there's cycling routes, walking routes. You can walk around and follow and see the coves down below, and you can trek along to the next resort, which is about 4.5-hour trek. Or if you want to pick up the car, just literally 10 kilometres or so, you're there in the thick of the mountain and the mountain villages.
And you have a lot of visitors who do take you up on that.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people can use Benidorm as a base. So the beauty of it is you stay in Benidorm. When you want the beach, you go to the beach and the nightlife. If you want to get away from it, then you just travel a little bit further out. And as I say, within 10 kilometres, if you want to go out to the further mountains, or literally you don't even have to get a car to sort of have a nice walking route across the cliff sides as well, which you can from the north side of Benidorm. So it's also very easy to get bicycle hire there. Not the bikes I was telling you about, the urban bikes, but for excursions.
Mountain bikes.
Cycle out, that's right. And you get a lot of teams that come in the winter and they train as well. So, I mean, just recently there was a Ukraine, I think it was, rugby team that came to train on the beaches because of the climate. Then you have cycling teams that stay there and then they do the mountain routes, training for the cycling in the winter. So there's a lot of advantages there.
Wonderful. So. OK, we're going to have a quick break.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere, plenty more questions for you. Now, did you know that you can cruise to and from Benidorm via the port of Alicante? And if you're new to cruising, then why not request this? It's our free copy of our first time guide to cruise holidays, and it is jam-packed with lots of useful information on everything you need to know to plan your first cruise experience. So to grab a copy, just give us a call, 0871 423 4444. Calls will cost 10p a minute from a BT landline, and other networks and mobiles may just vary. You can also ask for a copy through our website, www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. Whilst you're asking for this, we'll have a quick break. See you shortly. Welcome back to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic, where in today's programme we're enjoying the sun of Benidorm, and Yolanda Pickett from Visit Benidorm is still with me. We've got to talk about the beaches. You have touched on them and you've told us some of the names, but how safe are they? How gorgeous are they? Are they sandy? How involved can we get in a bit of beach?
Right, considering we're an urban resort, our beaches I think are pretty spectacular. I mean, I've travelled a lot of places and few places can match some of the beaches we have. We've got 5 altogether. The 3 main ones that are the best known are Levante, which means sunrise, because that's the area the sun rises, and that's where most of the hotels and the bars are on that beach, and that's the one that you see in all the holiday brochures that always seems to look very busy.
So that's the lively beach.
That's the lively beach. If you like
the music and a cocktail,
that's right,
that's the beach for you.
And that's 2 kilometres long. And then we have a little cove beach in between in the Old Town area called Malpass. And then following on from that, we have what I consider to be the best beach. And it's a shame because a lot of our British visitors don't go down to that beach. And it is a spectacular beach. It's just over 3 kilometres long, extremely wide, especially down in the area called La Cala. Poniente means sunset, so it's the other way round. The beauty of the beaches in Benidorm, apart from those 3 being blue flag beaches, which it signifies as the quality of the sand, the water, and the cleanliness, they're south-facing, which is extremely unusual in a resort to have, especially 2 main south-facing beaches, which means you're not sort of moving your sunbed around all day. You have every bit of sunlight there. They're very shallow, so you can walk out for several metres, ideal for families. Very, very safe beaches, very sandy, and really, even in the height of August, which is high season, Poniente Beach is never full. So anyone who hasn't been to Benidorm, I encourage you to try some of the other beaches. And apart from that, we've got 2 small, very cove beaches, very intimate beaches as well, down by the headland in the mountainous areas as well. So there's 5.
And if you're not a sunbather, a sun worshipper, and you like the activities, maybe the water skiing, that type of thing, are they available as well?
Yeah. We have practically every sport you can think of other than snow skiing available. We have a big cable ski area down on the Levante Beach area, which they were the first cable ski to be installed in the world.
I don't know what cable ski is.
Right, it's 47 years old now.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a big cable that's about 80 metres out to sea. It's in a square, so instead of being pulled around on a boat, learning to sort of water ski or wakeboard, you're pulled around on a cable. So the beauty of that as well is you can learn to ski in there, or also it's very good for experts, and you can have 12 people on at a time. And at the same time, you're sort of viewing the whole of the skyline of Benidorm. Then, of course, every other type of water sports available. Scuba diving is one of the key ones, which people probably don't even think of Benidorm and scuba diving. So it's almost on a par with the
down there, then?
It is beautiful, especially around Benidorm Island as well. The visibility and the clearness of the water and the fauna and the flora down there is really quite spectacular. And it's very well known locally for scuba, but it's not internationally. You just wouldn't put 2 and 2 together. Then obviously you've got kayaking, sailing, catamarans. You've got all types of land sports as well. You can do climbing in the mountains nearby as well. So really, it's a place with a lot of active sports. If you don't want to do that, then you can just walk up and down the new promenade that's down on Poniente Beach as well. A lot of people jog up and down there as well, or power walk. It's a very unusual promenade. It's built like the shape of the waves of the sea, the height of the cliffs and the waves of the sea. It's very nice. And that was, it's fairly new. We've had it in about 3 years now.
And I mentioned shopping in my introduction. For those people like me, who might like a little shop to break up the day.
Yeah. In the Old Town area, we've got the shopping streets, and the most of them are pedestrianised, and you get all the typical souvenir shops, clothing and that. And we've also got a shopping centre just on the outskirts as well. And if you want to do even more shopping than that, then we've got the 2 capital cities of the region, which are quite close by: Alicante itself, which is only half an hour away, and Valencia, which is about an hour and 20 minutes.
Okay, and what about entertaining the kids? Theme parks, water parks, that type of thing?
Yeah. I mean, again, Benidorm's very unique for that. Few areas in the Mediterranean have got so much on. We've got 5 parks which are open in the summer, 2 in the winter. We've got 2 water parks. One of them is more for the young kids and the families. The other one is more for younger people, more thrill rides. We've got a theme park called Terra Mythica. We've got an animal park called Terra Natura.
I think we're just having a look at that now. Is that the animal park here?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And then we've got another sort of SeaWorld type park called Mundamar. And there, you can see dolphin shows and parrot shows. And one of the good things about that particular park is you can have unique experiences which you might not necessarily get here. For example, you might want to pay extra and be a dolphin trainer for the day, or swim with the dolphins, or swim the sea lions, and you can do those extras as well. There's also the Benidorm Circus, which is ideal for families as well, and that's every Saturday. So there's certainly a lot going on.
Well, you've exhausted me just listing all of that. So if you just want to take it down a notch and we want to be more low-key,
right?
What can you offer on that front?
Right. We've got activities, Benidorm Island, I mentioned before, with the scuba diving. You might want to sort of take a boat trip down to the island.
I love boat trips, that would be my thing to do.
Yeah, very tranquil there, and boats go every hour or so. It takes 20 minutes to the island. When you get there, you can then transfer onto a glass bottom boat and see the underwater marine life there. If you're not a scuba diver, you can do it on the boat. So I
think that would be what I would want to do.
Or you can get boats down to other neighbouring resorts in the area, such as Calpe or down to Tabarca as well. So that's quite a pleasant thing to do. Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to the nightlife, because we mentioned thousands of bars and restaurants and places to go.
That's right.
So if you are a lively person, where do you head to?
Right, well, Benidorm's got different sections. For example, first of all, we have the Benidorm Palace nightclub, which won an award 2 years ago for the best nightclub in Europe. So that is great for a dinner and a show. Then for the younger people, we have the main nightclubs and discos on the outskirts of Benidorm, and we have the English area where you have the main bars where the British like to go in the Levante area. And then we have another area which is on the seafront down by the Old Town, where we have more so maybe the Spanish go, and I'd like to see a few more English go there as well, because there's a different type of night scene there, and it's literally on the front line where you have sort of famous names like Kudisco and Penelope's, etc. Really, wherever you go in Benidorm, in the Levante area, in the Old Town, there's lots of nightlife. Where it's quiet and you don't get so much is on the other beach, on the Poniente.
What about eating out? I mean, people might put Benidorm hand in hand and think, oh, egg and chips in good old English breakfast. Let's break the myth.
That's right, we're not just egg and chips. I mean, I don't know if you know, from that particular area, I mean, not so much just Benidorm, but from the region, that's where the paella comes from. And the
paella,
yes, it's from the Valencia region, the rice dishes. So you can have, obviously, the British cuisine. You have all types of cuisine, but really, if you want to go to some of the smarter restaurants, you can go down on the other beach, on the Poniente Beach. You can enjoy a nice rice dish. There's probably enough for a different rice recipe for every day of the year. We call it paella because that's the international name. Everybody knows it's paella, but really paella is just one particular recipe.
Oh, right. But you can get different variations of it.
Different variations. Very typical of Benidorm is the spinach and a spinach paella that we have there. There's also the Old Town area. We have the Tapas Alley, as they call it. where we had a lot of people come down from the Basque area and they set up their businesses there. So Spanish tapas is the art of eating snacks, isn't it, with a, you know, a glass of wine or a beer. And you can go down there and do a tapas crawl, and it's very good. So, you know, really would encourage people to come away from the sort of the Newtown area and try the Spanish food. We also have 4 gastronomic events during the year. The one we've got going on this week is it's called the Spoon Week. The spoon, it means it's like having soups and stews, special menus of local food for people to try. Then we have the gastronomic days, then we have the rice days. They're done deliberately so holidaymakers can come along and sample the local cuisine at a set menu price.
And how busy do those events get?
They're very busy with the locals. We'd like to really encourage more of the international visitors to come along, because I don't think they really know it, especially on the Tapas Week, which will be the 31st of March, because then you can vote for the best designed tapa. So the best...
So you go, you taste.
That's right.
And then you can say, oh, that little croquette was my favourite.
Yes, that's right. And then the winner with all the votes, there's a system that will be set up with an app on how to do that. And then they win the prize. But I think people will be pleasantly surprised if they know where to go, and they really ought to sort of try out the cuisine there, because as I say, we need to remove that myth, like you say, that we're not just egg and chips. Yeah.
We are running out of time, but very quickly, where and how easily is it to get there?
Right, you fly to Alicante Airport, and then when you're in Alicante Airport, then it takes about 2 hours to 2.5 hours, depending where you fly from in the UK. And then to get from Alicante to Benidorm, you can either book a private transfer. There's a bus service, and it usually takes about 40 minutes or so. Or if you drive as well, you can pick up a car hire. So it's very easy to get to.
Well, thank you very much for your time. Hopefully we've whet the appetite of some people and they may just give it a go.
Right.
Thank you so much. Now, just a quick reminder about this. It's our first time guide to cruise holidays. It's absolutely free of charge. Just give us a call, 0871 423 4444. Calls will cost 10p a minute from a BT landline, and other networks and mobiles may vary. Don't forget, you can also request a copy through our website, www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, where you can also get in touch with your questions for future programmes. Well, that's all we've got time for on today's edition of the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. My thanks to Yolanda Pickett from Visit Benidorm, and thanks to you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.